All right. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back again to another episode or show of Aging Smart. But today we're doing something a little bit differently. We are actually partnering with Chad, the home guy. Chad, say hi.
Hey guys, Chad the home care guy.
Yeah. Chad does his own podcast, like just the same thing, I guess, like me. And so what's happening, if you're watching on our show or on his, you get to have both of us today. And we're also joined with Randy Marowitz today from, what's the name of the company?
Life Station.
Life Station. Because I saw this today and I was like, man, I need to talk about Life Station and what that's all about. See, we're at today's Social Worker Appreciation Lunch. It's an annual event that we do every year. And we decided that it would be kind of cool if we did some impromptu shows or podcasts while we had all these cool people in the room. And so I grabbed Randy and said, hey, you want to come back and do a little show? And Randy's like, he's not really, he's kind of shy, not good in front of a camera.
Not true. I heard his speech earlier. It was totally good. He was talking about opening the bar up. I think that was probably one of the greatest speeches we've had so far.
For sure, because I didn't open the bar up. Really,
I had it so scripted if they would have said yes. I was literally going to go up there and say, ladies and gentlemen, the bar is open, and drop the mic. I would have been off the hook. I wouldn't have had to, engage because, we do all of these across the country. We're a corporate sponsor.
Right.
So we're in every state. And we say the same thing.
Have you ever got a bar open?
No, never. One of these days that we are in a venue that has a bar in it. Gulfport Casino was one, but they don't do that one for Southern Pinellas anymore.
We lost it in the hurricane.
Yes, because it's gone. That is very unfortunate. I love that area.
Well, there's always next year.
So how do you appreciate 300 social workers? Open the bar.
Yeah, it's the least I could do for what they taught me. That's. My whole career has been built and my success has been completely attributed to social workers and case managers, because without their insight down to the community level programs and the people they serve, I don't know how to be a community partner for what we do.
Help people unless somebody knows you.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're doing today. Yeah. This whole idea, what I've set up Aging Smart to do, is to reach out into the community and promote and present people that have solutions to the problems that we run into as we age. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we might know the problem, but we don't know that there's a solution to the problem. Right. So when I was talking to you today and I saw this, like, let's get Life Station out there and kind of share with the world what it is that you guys are doing. So what is a kind of a typical client be?
Okay, so thanks for asking. So we're a medical alert company. And there is a stigma that, when you talk about a medical alert company and somebody that's going to push a button and call for help, they go to the old commercials from the 70s and 80s. But really, it's not just for seniors. It's not for the frail and elderly. We have a lot of end user clients that are teenagers. Maybe they were born with a developmental disability. Maybe it's someone who I remember very early on in my career when I used to do home modifications. My first stair lift I ever put in was for a gunshot victim from a drive-by shooting.
Oh, really?
21 years old, shot in the spine and was paralyzed. And I had to put a stair lift in for him to get upstairs to use his bathroom. So I'm like, okay, mindset completely changed.
Oh, I bet.
Right.
Yeah. It's not just for
over my career, I've been in over 3,000 homes, learning how the services are delivered. And a lot of those visits were with a case manager or social worker. Right. So I could see that interaction and learn what the social worker or case management pain points are. Home care agency pain points, such as sending people to empty homes and having to pay for mileage. Not a good thing for an unforeseen business expense. Sure. So when I tie that to what we do on the emergency response system side, I go right into the reporting and what that does from an administrative oversight or organizational level. We're able to tell you with a simple report that your client pushed their button and the ambulance took them to the hospital. That means they're not home, or there's a good chance they've been headed towards an admission. So if you've got a staff in home care, an aide in that house the next day at 10 a.m., and you get a notification on your email at 8 a.m. that client was taken when you come in for the morning, you can reallocate that asset.
Which is perfect.
And avoid paying mileage to that house with no reimbursable service. So
I always think of the situation as a child, for example.
Right.
I got mom in the house. I'm not able to watch her, and she's got some issues that are maybe creeping in a little bit. Nothing dramatic necessarily, but I've always thought it was a peace of mind thing for kind of like me, the kid.
Absolutely, it is. So it's ultimately, I'm glad you put it that way, because the way that I teach my team, I'm the director for the country, and I I coach 9 territory managers throughout the country on how to engage into the government programs. And that is it. The assumption is already there, and it is 100% true. The family gets the ultimate benefit. You get the peace of mind that you can go to the store and get some things for mom or dad, or go pick up their meds, and God forbid anything should happen, they can push their button and you're going to know that, that help is coming. In the hours where they're left alone to sleep at night, you're worried about them getting out of bed and tripping and falling, that you're not going to come in the next day to find that they've been on the floor for 9 hours, right? That has always been the purpose for the end user, to have the purse. What we do is we point out, in addition to that, the organizational benefit, the cost savings benefit. Because if somebody has a cell phone dangling around their neck, which we know is a real thing with seniors, like a phone on a cord, right?
Oh,
We actually have branded stop boxes, cords for people to hold their
Perfect. Perfect. So I'm really on target here, right? The lanyard, right? The phone lanyard. The problem is if you're a senior, you're 85 years old, let's just say, and you fall down and you flip that phone open and you dial 911. Okay. Not only is it going to take a little bit longer to get somebody there because they don't have your location like they do on a landline. They have to ask what county you're calling from. If you're a little disoriented, you might mess that up. Right. When that ambulance comes, they see vulnerable senior on the floor, we're transporting. If all they hurt was their pride, they don't need to go to the hospital. They just need a neighbor or a friend or a caregiver or son or daughter that lives 10 miles away to come and help them up off the floor. Right. So there's that benefit.
I fall and I can't get up in real life.
A lot of people fall and they don't have the upper body or core strength to stand back up. And that's it. Like, they're not hurt. Right. And that's what we find.
Well, I'm sure first responders probably appreciate that as well.
They absolutely do.
They can allocate their time and to real emergencies that are happening, and they get to really understand, what you guys can do for the community.
Absolutely.
What does it look like for new technology that's out there right now for you guys? Because I'm sure that it's changed since the days of those commercials. We've got all kinds of new devices and new ways of tracking these things.
Yeah.
So what's the latest thing that's out there right now?
So there's a lot. The emergency response world has evolved tremendously. It used to be, it was a unit that tied into a landline. Where the call outbound from the button press overrode the landline signal. Like, it took precedence. So even if they pressed their button during a phone call, it would still alert. Help. Right. Then what happened? The landline industry changed. Everything started to move into voice over IP. Then cellular got big and people started dumping the landlines. So you can see, and you'll see a lot of these companies, they'll advertise coverage as little as $19.99 a month. Right. And then you got to add the landline cost to that because that's what they're advertising.
Right.
The problem that we saw in the industry was the feedback we got from the end users was, well, what if I'm on the floor in the shower and that panel is attached to my landline, or it's a wireless unit? So we've evolved to 2013 that's sitting in the living room. That's 4 rooms over, right? How do I know they're going to hear me? Well, you have to take our word for it. There's very sensitive microphones on the inside. So if they have a smartwatch technology, not only does it not look like a medical alert device, but they're able to have a two-way conversation on the floor of their shower or mine because it's got GPS. Right. So if they're visiting that family member, or they're at the grocery store, and it's more calming when you know that help is coming because you can understand that they're coming. And
I've seen some of the watches, and that's why I was kind of trying to get you to say what those were.
Absolutely. It's not an app. It is a Samsung smartwatch. But
it looks not medical at all.
It does not. Literally, you look at the face. Every smartwatch has a crown on it, just like a regular watch. You press and hold the crown, and that's your call for help. It vibrates, it beeps, it allows you to cancel the signal if you bumped it on accident. But we also put a couple of fun things in there that are not apps. They swipe to the left to look at the weather, their step count, their heart rate, right? Or to turn it off. So if I'm going to a group setting, and this is something we're really trying to capture. I'm a service veteran myself, and there are a lot of community programs out there that will pay for this for for service veterans, disabled service veterans in
I am too.
particular.
Thanks for your service. What branch? Army.
Same.
Yeah. Awesome. There's other branches. I always have to ask.
I
that.
agree.
What is a Space Force?
Yeah. Oh no. I just discovered something really cool here. This guy being ex-Army. But veterans, we're stubborn. We do not want to admit that we need help, let alone ask for it.
Yeah.
So the last thing that anyone is going to want to do if they're proudly wearing their Vietnam veteran hat is have a medical looking device when they roll into the VFW.
Absolutely.
Right.
I agree.
If they're just checking their time, nobody's going to ask them anything.
So very subtle, very under the radar.
Yep.
It has fun features.
It does.
Also through Life Station.
Yeah. It comes right to a live operator in our own central station. We will determine, we'll triage, do you need help? Yes. Okay. Are you hurt? Do you feel like you need an ambulance? No, actually, I'm not feeling any pain. I just need help up.
And if I'm going to sell this to my mom, who's stubborn, not a veteran, but still stubborn. So, and I'm going to sell it to my mom, I can just say, hey, mom, look what I got you for your birthday. A new watch.
A new watch.
And oh, by the way, if anything goes down, like you, just press this and then everything's going to be fine if you ever need help.
Yep.
It's just very subtle for them as well. How do you move into their world without making them feel bad?
Hard.
Is it like a monthly package deal?
Yeah. So companies like Life Station, we do not put anybody in a contract because you don't know when a permanent change of residence into a nursing facility or extended care, like where they don't need the service, they should be able to escape it or get out of it. Or if they end up going to an insurance plan that actually will pay for it, they shouldn't be under any kind of contract.
I agree.
So it's just a simply monthly service fee when it gets to the private pay end. In the government channel, we actually try to find a payer for it. So we have some national contracts with some Medicare Advantage payers here in Florida. We work with the Medicaid long-term care, which is a covered core benefit.
Oh, that's great.
Right. That's where it's important for the case managers that are tasked to run 7 different services into the same home and then completely lose any kind of organization on that caseload when they're not home.
That is huge. A lot of my clients have worked with qualifying for Medicaid to pay for that care.
Yeah.
And we do this on a literal daily basis. I did not know until just now that was one of the perks or advantages of being
Medicaid long-term care. Yes.
I know that's
a
distinction.
Yeah.
So Randy, I was talking to you a little bit about my mom, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some interesting irony for you. When we talk about I've fallen and can't get up, we kind of are just saying that tongue in cheek. But in all seriousness, a couple of years ago, she's living down in Palm Beach, and she has a nice little house down there. And she went out the back door, and there's some steps, and she went down, and it's right kind of by the driveway, but she went down, and she literally couldn't get up.
Yep.
And she was there for probably 14 hours before a neighbor saw her.
We hear this every day.
And so in my own world, that literally happened. And in retrospect, I wish she would have had a gosh darn watch.
Absolutely.
I mean, that would have.
Or a pendant. We have the mobile pendants too. We even have one that speaks 100% Spanish for our Florida population in New York and Texas.
Oh, that's really
and we listen to the needs of the language barrier and the PERS companies. We're all looking at introduction of AI for addressing the language barrier. I mean, we're a country of immigrants, myself included. My family came over on the boat in 1899.
You got here before my family.
Yeah. So, hey, I mean, yeah.
The recent immigrant.
But having a conversation with your mom, it's tough, right?
I could sell. I mean, I'm not kidding. I hear, Mom, this is a cool watch I got you for your birthday. And oh, by the way, if you ever, hit the floor again, just press this little crown button.
You put it in a really nice little box for a gift, and that's a different
on it, right? Like an iPhone box, really sick. Yes. Yeah. So
easy sale.
Like, oh, I got you this. Look at the big face on it and the bold there. Oh, by the way, if you fall and you need help, there's fall detection built into that already. So it'll go off on its own, even if she's not able to push the button. And we're going to do whatever is asked. If it's, hey, I'm not hurt, can you call my son? Or I'm feeling dizzy, I forgot to take my meds today. Can you have my son stop by the pharmacy and pick up my prescription refill? See me after this interview. I know the older I get, the more I'm trending towards it myself. I'm having the same conversation with my mother right now. She has onset dementia.
Right.
And she has a bad hip. And she's fallen quite a bit, that I've learned, because they don't live in the same state. They live up in Pennsylvania. And
So
it's a tough conversation because I remember how old my mom was in the 80s when those commercials were running, and she used to make fun of them. So she's like, there's no way I am that person now.
right.
Yes, you are. So in a sense, those commercials did not do us any favors
right,
with the
exactly.
generation we're dealing with, or that we're not dealing with, but trying to help.
Well, they were definitely
Yeah.
catchy. We still remember it today.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And it's and that company has a very similar name to ours. So we take it. If that's how you associate it and come to know who we are, great.
Doesn't matter how you get
Great.
it.
Yeah, we'll take it. But, I was born into this business doing the emergency response systems, home modifications, and durable medical under organized healthcare delivery system for a home care company in a non-skilled setting. So yes. So it's very relatable. And that was the biggest advantage that we had in the non-skilled home care space, was the ability to avoid paying the aides mileage when they were going to an empty home, because you're going to be the last person they think to call.
Oh my
Right?
goodness.
Yeah.
And they're certainly not going to call their case manager. They might call you and your coordinators saying, oh, you tell so-and-so not to come, I'm in the hospital.
Right.
But usually you find out when that aide calls you and says, hey, not here. Do we hear from the case manager? Do we know where they are? And by the way, that was 14 miles.
In the technology side, let me ask you a question. I just had an idea. On the technology side of it, with dementia becoming bigger and bigger these days, is there any kind of a feature, or maybe possible future feature, where this smartwatch will also have like a Google Maps on it that will walk you back to your home? If you're in the car and you have your maps on and you have the audio portion on, it tells you when to make a turn and all that good stuff. Sure. But is there
Return to
anything
home.
have that? It'd be a return to home for a lot of these people that walk out of their homes and get lost.
I can tell you that's on the radar. The mobile
me in on
systems now do have GPS. So we can find somebody wherever they are in the country. And I know we had a recent find. This happened out in California with one of our programs for all-inclusive care for the elderly, PACE.
Right.
They had a participant that they couldn't find. So they called us. We found them sitting at a bus stop in LA. We called them through the device and just told them to stay where they were, that PACE was coming to pick them up. Right.
Holy moly.
That is, I mean, like, so the issue that you have, and like I told you, I'm working with through dementia with my own mother. She can tell you a story from when she was 6 years old, but she can't tell you a story from 6 days ago. So the idea with a PERS is, as soon as somebody is entered into a Medicaid, a memory care level of need, get it on them as fast as you can so it hits their long-term recall, because you'd be surprised how many people they'll look down, I don't know what this is, and they rip it off. It's the same thing we have with autism. When we're working in a developmental disability world, it becomes a sensitive issue and it becomes a broken or lost product.
So you said PERS. I've heard PERS mentioned a couple of times
Yes.
today, today's luncheon and everything. I had never heard that term before.
I haven't either.
Thanks, Jen, for making me feel better about my answer.
That's okay.
So, but no, seriously though, what is this PERS thing? Is there an acronym? Is there
Yes,
something?
stands.
What is a PERS? You threw it around like, we're supposed to know what that.
I'm sorry. In our world, for anyone who's paying attention to what we're doing today, we use a lot of acronyms, more than we probably should. Personal emergency response systems. Okay. So, and it is literal. When you put on a mobile device, it is on your person. So it is a personal device. It is minimally invasive. It is not meant to surrender independence. It is meant to prolong independence. Some people will call it medical alert. Some people might call it by a specific name because they've heard it and that's what they're familiar with. In the end, it's a personal emergency response. Listen to the recommendations of your healthcare providers and your case management professionals. They are here to help you avoid a nursing home residency at all costs. Nobody wants you there. You do not want to be there. Also, we'll say, they tell you when it comes to assets and money, you can't take it with you. If you end up in a nursing home as a ward of the state, you won't have anything to pass on to your children.
And that's where I come into play to make sure that never
Right.
my Medicaid planning.
Right.
All right. So actually the last thing. So there's somebody like me out there that's got, oh my gosh, my mom, literally my mom. And I want to engage with you guys. And I want to go to the next step. How do they reach out and talk with you? How do they make that connection?
Sure. So we have lifestation.com. Now, obviously you and I are going to talk.
Sure.
I'll send you an email and shoot you over some stuff. Pretty much anyone can ask their healthcare provider or health plan whether or not it's a covered product first. Whether we're contracted or not as the provider doesn't matter. They should have the service if a case manager feels that they need to have a service, or a physician or a family member. Start by asking your health plan if they cover it. And then, go into resources like
Which may already be a covered service for you within your plan. So again, another barrier to access in this falls.
Yes.
Can they call you direct?
They can. They can call me directly. I will put them in touch with our local representative. Okay. So coming over to the Life Station table, lifestation.com. Okay. All right. And then that lead would come right in, and we take it by zip code and area code, and that'll go to a member of my team to be able to engage, or somebody from our customer service team. But we also have email documents we can share with other providers that show everywhere where we hold a contract, every payer in Florida, so to speak, where if you have this, it's covered. So you immediately don't worry about it. And we try to get that into the hands of our discharge planners at the hospitals under the director of nursing. So if somebody comes in as a result of a fall or leaving as a fall risk, that conversation should be had, right? Absolutely. You need to know when you get them for home care. That's right. How big of a fall risk are we? Because that's going to determine how many hours of ADL support, activities of daily living, support they need. So just throwing acronyms around, but that's going to determine the level of care need. Yep. Do we need assistance with showering and bathing? That's how we tie our services together. If our fall report says they fell lifting their leg up over the tub wall to get into the shower, obviously the grab bars that are sitting on the shower walls are not helping.
That's right.
Right. So we got to remove that barrier. Maybe they need a walk-in shower, or maybe they need, I think I saw a company in here now that cuts the wall out of the tub and eliminate that 17-inch barrier. Right. So, that's how we all help each other. But it stems from what you can read on a report when your client won't tell you what happened.
That's right.
Randy,
thank you.
Very good for coming out.
Super informative.
Super
Thank you.
informative. As always, every time I do this, I learn something that I didn't know. And that makes me very happy. And also for everybody that's watching, you don't know everything. And sometimes there's somebody else that's a little smarter than you. Don't be afraid to go ask for help every now and then. It's perfectly okay. And it makes your life better. So I'm Sean Scott. I'd just like to thank everybody for watching again. Another exciting episode of Aging Smart. Randy and Chad. Find Chad at his podcast. Where do we find
Chad, the Home Care Guy podcast?
Chad, the Home Care. He's really good, by the way. Strongly encourage you. Well, we're going to have all links down below and all that. And I always love to say this because this is my new YouTube thing. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to share. Okay?
That's right.
Have a great day.
Thanks a lot. Cool. Good job, man.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You're natural.